Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Man,
Come
a
on,
little
bro.
midday action. I mean, evening for all you Brits. Shout out to you. Welcome to Breaking Bread. This is a show where I, Crunk Chocolate, break verbal bread with a quote unquote enemy. Whenever Manchester City has an upcoming match, I will be here having a conversation with a supporter of Manchester City's upcoming opponent. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube.
Therefore,
Please thumbs up, show those some love. Like if you're just crazy happenstance ended up here for the first time, please subscribe. Good times over here. Plenty of shows, offerings. If you're watching on Twitter, hey, how about you like the stream, retweet the stream, quote tweet the stream, just get more people in here. Let's huddle it up. Let's have a good time talking about some football. And for all of you people listening on a podcast, post this, rate, review, and appreciate you. Look at this little rhyme in action. But we are here to talk Manchester City versus Newcastle. And to help me do that, the homie. I'm super excited to have him on.
come on, bro.
We've
Come on.
been wanting to link up more with him, and finally we're here. We got a whole new season, plenty to talk about. Hopefully, I'm sure great seasons for both of us. I'm sure we'll bump into each other maybe in another competition, but also there's a whole other match. But for Tay, I'm gonna be honest, a moment of transparency. I'm a little nervous about this match because Eddie Howe, Newcastle, y'all are a little struggling team right now, and that is okay. But you can't continue that. If Eddie Howe wants to keep his job, if the team wants to stay confident, they need to show up and show out for this match. And with I'm getting ahead of myself, but with us losing Rodri, I'm nervous, guys. I'm nervous. So I'm hoping that the homie here is maybe not looking forward to this match. Maybe he can be a little, we'll find out how he feels about the team, but hopefully he's a little down on the squad, so then I can feel a little bit up about my squad. So Shady K, please give it up for the homie Specks, aka of Geordie Dread TV. How are you doing, homie?
Brother, I'm good, man. That's a beautiful, very energetic, vibrant intro there. So big up to you. Big up to your channel. As he
Hey,
said, you don't ain't got nothing to worry about. Rodri or no Rodri. Man City's Man City, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? And am I nervous about this game? It's not even about being nervous. It's just I just don't expect anything. I will continue to do my commentary and support the team. Our performances ain't been great. Nothing to panic about too much yet in terms of only lost one game, but performances wise is a little bit concerning going into this game. We had a League Cup game midweek that was postponed due to the English bad weather
yeah,
and the flooding. So it would have been nice to go into that game before we went into this game. But it is what it is. It's a gift and a curse. Supposed to get extra rest. And we're at home. So yeah, let's hope the boys at least turn up performance wise because it's Man City. They'll be up for it. You know what I mean. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't expect anything, brother. To be honest with you, I don't
Mm-hmm.
expect anything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
let's start here though. Even though you're down on the squad, but that's kind of the thing about fandom. The squad you love, it doesn't really matter what they're going through. You're still there. You still love them. So let us know. Let us, City fans, other listeners, why do you love Newcastle?
Yeah, it's a weird one because I'm from London, as you can probably tell. Not from the posh parts, but from the more urban sides. Predominantly multicultural area, a lot of blacks. Um, I'm born and bred in North London, Tottenham. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is literally grown up. It's literally like 5-10 minutes away from my, as you lot would say over there, apartments. From where I am, from the block. You know what I mean? So it's not. So it's weird. Some people get into football when they're like 5 or 4 or through their parents or the age of 7, etc. Me, age of 11. Obviously, all my friends love football or soccer, as you may call it. I don't know if you call it that. I've never understood that, but it is what it is. So all my friends liked soccer, football from before. I wasn't that interested until I was 11 years old. When you know how you got the World Cup,
Yeah.
and then you've got the Copa America, then you have the Euros. So the Euros in Euro 96 that was held in London, England. So there's a guy called Alan Shearer. I don't know if you're familiar with him, the GOAT.
Yeah.
A guy called Alan Shearer, Newcastle United legend. I saw him on TV. Everyone was getting overhyped about this guy. I didn't really know what was going on the pitch, but I just liked the atmosphere and the passion from the fans. And I just thought I might not understand it yet, but I like the hype. Everyone talking about this guy, Alan Shearer. I think it was a month or two later, people started saying you got to support a team. It's going to be your local teams like your Spurs, Tottenham, where I'm from, or the Arsenals, or the typicals, the Manchester United, the Liverpools, Chelsea's, and so on. That wasn't really for me. But because of Alan Shearer, and he made his move, this is before you had transfer windows. He made his move in September 96 to Newcastle United, and that was it. He could have went anywhere. He could have went to Man United, which Sir Alex Ferguson did try to sign him, but he rejected Manchester United for Newcastle United. So I could have been a Man United fan. I could have been, but that's the history of it, really. Alan Shearer gone to Newcastle, fell in love with the black and white, fell in love with the Geordies and everything about Newcastle. And that's all those years ago. And I'll never look back. Wouldn't change it for the world. Wouldn't change it. So it's down to Alan Shearer why that weird guy, that Rasta guy, that black brother from North London, Tottenham, who has no affiliation with Newcastle at all. And I ain't the only one. I used to think I was the only one. But there's a few more out there. Not black, but it's like London, Newcastle support. There's a few, not loads, but there's a few out there. So that's the history of my reasoning for supporting my beloved Newcastle United. I wouldn't change it, mate. Wouldn't change it.
No, I love that. And by the way, we do call it football, at least on this pod.
Oh, you call it, okay.
I call it football, but we don't shame or we don't care what people call it. Like call it whatever you want.
That's why I respect it, just in case you may call it.
Yeah. So when we're actually on the pod, since we are Americans, we all like NFL and NCAA. Whenever we're trying to talk about the separate sports, we call it, so soccer is football, and then the NFL and stuff.
Of course.
We call it football. So we say that. Football.
Oh, okay.
So you definitely know we're talking about an American version.
That makes sense. Yeah. I've never understood why it's called. I've never understood it. But it is what it is. And I suppose you do kick the oval ball at times. But yeah, man. Big up to the American sports, man. You get me? It's all good.
Shout out to everybody who calls it soccer. Yeah, boy.
That's all good, man. Whatever, I respect whoever calls what. You know what I mean? Yes. But it is football though. But yeah, we'll just. You know what I mean? No discriminating.
Obviously, right? But there is a right and there is a wrong. You know, that's all you're saying.
Yeah, that's all. That's all good, man. That's all good. But yeah, man. But how did you? Sorry, I know you're doing the questions. How did you get into the whole Man City thing?
Okay, so
and your friends and stuff like that.
All of the. Let's see, real quick. Sharpie became a fan, I think 2015, 16, 17. I think he's kind of like the newest of us of City fans. And it was just I don't want to speak for him, but I'm pretty sure it was just, it might have been the Aguero, but also I feel like it was later than that. But I think one of it might have been that Tom Baum. He is our resident Man City women specialist. So he has been watching women's football forever. He grew up in Kansas, and that's a very big soccer area in the U.S. So he's been tapped into soccer and women's soccer for a very long time. He's been very key for us to be paying more attention to City women. We've covered them. We cover both the teams, and we've done that since we've started 3 years ago. And then Tarek, his daughters actually played soccer, and that's how he ended up a Man City fan. Was
Okay.
he found they found the women's team and they were pretty good at that time, and then he also checked out the men and they just happened to be really good as well.
Yeah, of
Same city,
course.
same passion. And then me, back in like 2002, 2003, something like that, I was playing FIFA and I was going through all the leagues and the divisions. I got to the second division in England, and I just saw this really cool crest. And it was Manchester City. I've never heard of Manchester City, but I knew about Manchester United.
Yeah.
They're basically the Yankees. I hate the fucking Yankees. So it was like, all right, cool. There's a team in a lower division that nobody knows about. I love Sky Blue. This is cool. And like I check out their
Okay.
yeah, so I played with them. I beat my friend, and I was kind of like locked in there. It was basically impossible for me where I lived and everything to like keep up with it. But I would try to like look in newspapers and like
Yeah.
sports and stuff like that. But the older I got and the more that it got available, I started playing rugby in high school. So
Okay.
then that like truly started enveloping me into just the culture over there. Like
Yeah.
I embraced it a little bit more, uh, and just year after year after year, I've taken the club more and more seriously.
So, yeah,
Like,
you grows, you fall in love with it, and obviously, especially coming from a broad sense, there's no shame or having to like or why you support a team. Especially, well, you go quite way back in terms of because Man City is still promoting and marketing themselves, like
mhm,
all the other big teams. That's
yeah,
the whole point of marketing is to bring in the fans to see if they can engage and fall in love with a team and with the sports. So I get it. And just going off topic, did you say you played rugby in the
yeah,
US? They play
yep,
rugby in the US.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sorry if I sound very
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. A lot of
I
people were super surprised as well.
I
The
never
team wasn't
knew.
great. We're more a drinking team that played rugby, but yeah, no, we were a rugby
Oh,
team.
but I didn't know the Americans, or should I say y'all, even take notice of rugby. You get what I'm
They're
saying? You
not
got
great. The national team is not great. There's seven
there's a
cities.
national rugby team.
Yeah, there's
Wow. Now you know what? That shows how ignorant I am. And I
no, that's
apologize.
hilarious, bro.
I never heard of that
You
in
know, we
my
have a
life.
football team too. We have a national soccer team too, right?
Yeah, yeah. I know that. No. US men's national soccer team is and the women's team as well.
Yes.
Quite good. And now you got Pochettino taking charge because you got the World Cup
Yeah.
in your country. So,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be
Excited about
it's all good. But anyway, sorry, I
that.
didn't mean to go off
Yeah,
topic.
rugby. No, that's fine. Yeah, I played second row in 8. I love to kick it. Actually, I'm 6'4", but
Oh wow.
I loved doing up and unders and grubbers and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, I was very much
good.
into running into tackles and then starting mauls. And yeah,
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I had to play rugby as well in school, but I'm still short now, but I used to be short and skinny, and I used to just do it to get out of doing other activities. And
that's
then
fair.
when I got knocked out, I never played it again. I said, F that. I ain't played
It's
that
a
ever
crazy
again, bro.
sport. Yeah,
That
man, I
sport is
loved it though.
dangerous, bro. But
Yeah,
yeah, man. Well, no, big up to you, man. So you're into your sports. I like that. That's good.
yeah,
That's
yep,
cool, bro.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
let's talk about Newcastle and their transfer window this last
Don't get me
summer.
started.
I know because well, trust me, I'm with you in all of this. Anybody who knows our pod, well, especially me, I have no problem. Especially because I'm really big into wrestling, so I have no problem being like the heel, the bad guy. And I specifically tell everybody that we need to embrace being seen as the evil sky blue empire. Like that's just who we are. We're fucking Darth Vader choking out motherfuckers.
Mhm.
And whether that's how we want to be perceived and how we are being perceived, that's a completely different thing. And we need to not be so like ambivalent about things.
Yeah,
And it frustrates me. And like that's why I love shout out to Big Steve because
yeah,
that motherfucker, he goes at people and he doesn't back down.
yeah. I
And
see.
and I love that about him. Like
Hmm.
it's just like and we need more people who are like that. And there are a lot of people who are, but I feel like us as a fan base, we need to, I don't know, just I was in Chicago for the Premier League Fan Fest event.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw your footage. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was in the Arsenal area, but even on the other television where it was like the Man City people, it was still a lot of Arsenal people.
Mm-hmm.
But they did all the chants or whatever. But and a couple of them around me tried to like chant back to, and I was just like, don't do it, because there aren't enough of us. They're gonna immediately over chant us, which just feeds them even more. It's just like we just got to play our game, which is win titles. and that's just kind of what we have to do. Let them have fun. They got the best chant trophy of the day. Like, I hope they get to talk about that for the rest of their life. I don't know. Like, if that's what you guys want, have it.
Yeah, no, look, as fans, no, I mean, you don't. Obviously, we can all go against City, either hate or be or have questions, and we'll know what's going on or is what it is. But if you're a Manchester City fan, yeah, you shouldn't give a damn.
Yeah,
you should support your team, and that's what you're supposed to do. And as a collective, if you've got to fight against everyone else, not physically, but in terms of verbally, and you shouldn't feel no way. Like, what I'm saying, proud. Like, any other team would be happened to my team, but because of the likes of City and Chelsea, the rules have been a bit, so we can't do what you lot did. We can do.
Hey, we're fighting power for you, though. We're fighting.
I know. That's got to change thing.
It is.
I think I even heard Big Steve talk about it with the Magpie channel. It's got to change. You know what I mean? Because like people, there is owners out there that's got a bit more money, and yes, Man City set a trend, Chelsea, etc. Then you got the already established guys like Man United and Arsenal's and Liverpool's, and you got I know it's money, but you got to keep it kind of competitive. Can't just keep running away, and the gap just gets bigger and bigger. You know what I mean? So something needs to be changed or tweaked just a little bit. Don't know how they will do it, but something's got to be changed, because, as you see, like you said, going to the transfer window, because of this other new thing that got introduced since Newcastle got taken over, you got FFP and you got PSR, profit sustainability rules. So that messed us up, where we had to sell, and just to like, it's like a how can I put it? You're selling players, then you're buying players you don't really want or need. That's not really first team players, and then technically overall, we haven't signed no one of significance. We signed one player that was for free. That was Lloyd Kelly. We haven't signed no one, and you would think this season would be the season to try and go at it. And I don't think it's all about money anyway, because we were willing to spend £75 million on Mark Geordie anyway. So we could have spent, but there's obviously other things going on behind the scenes with our sporting director Mitchell, and there's a lot of back and forth going on behind the scenes. And unfortunately, news broke out today that our CEO, that he's got diagnosed with blood cancer. Yeah. So I hope, like, wish him and his family well. Like, when it comes to things like that, take it with a personal whatever. But there's a lot going on now, so it's all a bit of a mess right now. But I hope he can get that sorted or gets well in his family. And
and obviously because with 115, I obviously I hate the system. Because it's not even, what frustrates me is people do not tie us to Chelsea. Like, yes, City spent a bunch of money once upon a time, but if you look at us, if you look at the numbers, we're down there now. We're like 11th. We're like 12th, 13th, 14th. We've spent when it mattered. Like when Pep first got here, of course we have to get a Pep style team.
You built a team. You built it.
There are reasons and things. Like what Chelsea is doing is a completely different thing, because they're literally just trying to trade and flipping. Like they're doing what Brighton does, but times 10. Like it's a much more aggressive, high value version of what Brighton is doing.
Definitely.
And so it's just and I get it, teams that have spent money and can spend money, but the biggest thing for City is what they have done to revolutionize their part of the city. And that's where, and getting all these stars and all these kits, that's why the stupid Oasis kit is a thing. This is extra money that can go to other things.
Business.
Yes, it's like our ticket sales. All of this stuff matters for us to be able to bring in players. It's not
Same, yeah.
city. It's not the Sheik's money. It's us buying a bunch of different shirts. I have a friend who literally buys all the keeper kits every
Yeah.
single year for like the last 5 years since they've had Ederson. It's us individual, and that's what like pisses me off when they're like, oh, the oil money. No, it's us, motherfuckers. It's us as fans loving this squad, loving these teams, buying these kits, trying to figure out a way to connect with this club however way we can. And for people to just say that it's oil money, that diminishes what
Yeah,
we
that
do for the club. And I hate that stuff. It's a little cheap little excuse for people to like minimize that the fact your teams just can't do it. You can't cut up, and that's okay.
yeah,
That's fine. There's ups and downs. There's ups and downs. But I'm never saying this towards Newcastle because y'all are our oil siblings. Like a shout out to you guys. Like that's what I've been saying since the new ownership because I knew people were gonna come at you guys weird. So I was like,
they come at us.
embrace.
We can't do anything anyway, and it still come at us.
I know.
Imagine you can't spend and I still get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
I know. We aren't even spending the money.
like in the week, big up to AFC Wimbledon. They built up a GoFundMe for their pitch is actually ruined. It's actually all folded up and it's a big mess. So we've actually changed our fixture from that midweek game to Tuesday, and now it's going to be at St James's Park at our ground instead of in London. And Newcastle donated £15,000. They didn't have to, and all the comments is like, what is that all you're gonna give them? You got all that money and you're only giving them £15,000. I'm thinking, brother, do you know what £15,000 is?
Especially for Wimbledon.
But that's a lot of, bro. I wish they donated. I need £15,000.
They fainted, I'm sure, when that money came through.
You know what I mean? So there's little things like that. But with the whole City thing, like the 115 charges, there's two things I want to get into about that. 115 charges, I'll get to that in a minute. But in terms of when Man City started doing their thing, when there was no rules, you can't blame them for that. There's no rules. They came in, they were one of the first, and along with Abramovich, but Man City took it to another level as well. They came, is a business sense as well. And initially, your guys wanted to actually take over Newcastle first. Initially, did you know that? Was you aware of that? Was you aware of that?
I was, yeah.
So, and then obviously it make more sense to Man City. It does make sense. They're rivals to Man United. Let's try and take over, make the city blue, and they're basically not far from it. Manchester United's name will always hold weight. Man City are fully near there, getting there. So when they came in, they built. They were allowed to, you know, it was a marketing thing as well. So obviously now it's a bit different. You got more of a kind of a sustainability because you are now a big club in the major competitions, year in, year out. Attraction, marketing. You got back in my younger days when I supported the away team, Newcastle, all the kids like Man United. Yeah. Because they were doing great things. Now in this generation, all the youngsters and some that are in their early 20s, they support Man City because that's the new version of the Man United or back in my back in the younger days. So it's marketing as well. They're built on that. So now it's more sustainability. Back then, let's not get it twisted. They did put in the money. They did spend. That's why I think Newcastle should be allowed to do that. If you get the money, give them some kind of leeway to start off, or give them a year to start off, and then after that you go into sustainabilities and all this madness. But the 115 charges, whether I think it's real or not, I don't think nothing's going to happen to Manchester City. It's just going to drag on and drag on and drag on. They say there's definitely going to be an answer soon. They're not going to get relegated. Definitely, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's not.
I can't see them getting 100 minus points and all this stupidness that they're saying. That would just kind of that's a bad thing for the Premier League in itself as a brand. You're going to do chuck Man City out and put them in League One or something called Championship. So I don't think that's going to happen anyway, to be honest. I think it's going to be a fine or something silly. I don't think nothing's going to happen. So if there is any Man City fans that really think anything's going to happen to Man City, I don't believe so. Nothing's happening. I don't think so.
Yeah. I
Nah,
mean,
I don't
I
think.
don't want to dig into
Nah,
it too much.
115 charges, brother. To be honest, I don't think there's actually a 115 charges. Like all they had to do was break it down into 2 or 3 major charges. Come on, 115 charges. Like it could be something. Come on.
They
I
did.
don't.
I mean, and it's 115 charges. A lot of them are like
Crazy.
tied to certain situations. So if
Yeah.
this one charge gets knocked off, then there goes like 10 here, and if this gets knocked off, then 10 here go away. And it's
You
so
must
it's
carry on. You won't
yes,
stop.
they threw 115 to hopes that like they could get 5 to 10 to stick, and from there, and like I've been talking about it since it all happened. What's gonna happen is I just suspect it's gonna be a world record fine,
That's
maybe a year or
transfer
two.
ban for one transfer window or something like that.
Yeah,
It's nonsense. Look, the Premier League for me is I wouldn't call it a joke, but it's a bit of a farce because Leicester City somehow just bamboozled their way out of getting points deduction. They made the Premier League look stupid. The Premier League got their Leicester
but
City
they did
actually
this to
did do wrong.
themselves, though. That's the thing. Like they put themselves in the situation. They could have just like sat and chilled out, but they just always hanging out with each other in their little echo chambers, boosting each
Yeah,
other up. Like
yeah.
I got the best lawyers, and you got the best lawyers. Let's team
That's
our
what
team up.
it's a game, bro.
Like, oh, get out of
It's a
here. Just
game.
play the game. Let the players on the pitch. 11 men versus 11 men, 11 women versus 11 women. Let them play and then figure out who's the best.
Yeah,
Like
it's like I'm not gonna sit here and be naive and not like I'm not saying there shouldn't be some kind of
yes,
rules.
I'm not saying free
There
enterprise.
needs to be something. There needs to be some kind
Yes.
of otherwise trust me. And it's weird because remember the whole point of this is to save the likes of Berry who went bust and certain teams that like the owners end up they can't sustain the club
This
no
is
more.
destructive.
But
This is
come on,
destructive.
Man City is not gonna let that happen to Man City. Their own like that's so
Well,
now I can't see that
City's
happening.
already at the place where they're making the money, so they
Yeah,
don't
that's what I'm
even have to
saying.
worry about
So
PSR now. Now
yeah,
it's
yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Like the only way teams like Newcastle, like Brighton, can really do things, it's either by like bringing a big name that will sell a lot of kits, find out different ways to sell kits, sell
Mm,
tickets, host events. Like you
yeah.
have to figure out all these ways to tie your club to things to get people to purchase them. Like you go buy some random sweats. Like Man City has so many different like clothing lines and all these other things. And yes, it's marketing, but it's also brilliant ways of getting money in that you can then put back
No,
into the team. And that's
100%.
and you guys aren't able to do that without getting in trouble. Or you can do it, but that's like a 5 year. Like it took 12 years, like basically, for the investment at Manchester City to really be fruitful.
Exactly. Well for me, you got to invest in a team to bring the attraction, then the rest will play out itself.
Yes.
We can't really do that in it. Like I'm not saying I want to do that anyway. Like it's not this is not FIFA, bro. It's
Yes.
buy
Yes.
Mbappes and all that. Like if we could, I wouldn't complain, but I'd
But
rather
it would
have
be
some
nice
kind
to
of like
buy the players you want.
I'd be able to say we need 5 players. Let's go and get them. We don't care
Yes.
what the price is.
Let's go get Gahey. Let's go get these players
Yeah,
to make
price
us
is not an issue,
be
bro.
good. And it's one of those things you could technically you can spend that money, but
The consequences,
yes, like if
big ones.
you don't sell those kits, if you don't play well, if you don't sell out all these
Get into
tickets,
Europe
yeah, like if you don't do all these
consistently.
things, yeah, then you lose the money, and yeah, then PSR comes
And then they
at you.
get brother. We was literally 1 day away from potentially getting point deductions in June. Because now you got a transfer window, and then now you got a deadline for PSR. If you're in trouble, you got to sell by the end of June or whatever, or the 28th of whatever it was. It's crazy. So
It's very
I'm
frustrating.
50-50 with it, but I think it's getting to a point where what they initially had these rules for is going against the teams that doesn't necessarily need saving. I
Yeah,
like it to save us, but we don't need saving. We
yeah.
need to be able to let the shackles off and let us compete. That's what we need to be doing. But
Well, and
yeah,
on it, well, and we know that this was also built to keep the people, because again, like this doesn't hurt City because they already have the machine. Manchester United, they already have the machine. Liverpool, they already have the machine. So PSR, it doesn't really affect them too much. And what it's super frustrating because yes, I'm a Man City fan, but I pay attention to all football. I pay attention to as many leagues as I want to. With our Breaking Bread, that's why we bring guests on from who support other clubs so we can truly learn as much of the game as possible. And it doesn't really matter. All of the clubs that we talk to, they're all just like, it's so tough out here. Like, how do we figure things out? Like, I hate this stuff. And yes, you can blame City for the situation, but it's technically it's the others who saw City come into the game and they want everybody else to stay out. So really, it's like when you find out your significant other is cheating on you and you get mad at the person who's cheating on your significant other, like instead of being mad at your significant other, you're mad at that other person.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like this whole situation is. Like everybody's mad at us when it's like, no, it's them. They're the ones who are they're diverting. They're putting us in the center to be like, be mad at them, and then everyone gets to chuckle and be like, look what we did.
And it's crazy now because what I'm starting to notice is, as I think you were saying a bit earlier before you touched on it, when it comes to like certain votes, when they have Premier League votes now and all that, have you noticed that it's always Man City and Newcastle that are on the same side? Mm-hmm. They're always on the same side. They're almost like silently backing each other. Because obviously, can you imagine if the shackles got let off? Can you imagine if Newcastle could really do what they want to do? It would literally probably just be Man City and Chelsea. Man City and Newcastle just going at it, or maybe Newcastle could catch Man City at some point, 5-6 years time.
Hey, we'll get me topic. We'll get there. We can wait because I want to talk about Eddie Howe and you can spend all the money in the world. You aren't getting there with Eddie Howe. You're not getting to the top 4 consistently with Eddie Howe. Respect Eddie Howe. He seems like a great guy, but he's not it. It's not him.
Why not? What is it? Is it? Well, I heard. I think Big Steve said it as well earlier on. Not winning a trophy with Eddie Howe. I've heard Daps that I worked with on and Never a Foul. He said he always dissing Eddie, he's poking fun at me. What is the reason? I maybe I got a soft spot for Eddie because I was a fan of Eddie before he came to Newcastle.
Yes,
and I'm also maybe I'm a bit patriotic. I'm a big advocate to root for British, especially English managers.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's tough right now for them.
Yes,
and Eddie's the one setting the mark right now, probably as an English manager. So what is it? Why do you? I thought maybe I'm naive or maybe I'm biased. Why don't you and others think Eddie ain't it? And if Eddie ain't it, who is it?
Okay. So I can tell you what I'm not, because let's see. Let's start off with nice things. He's great in front of the camera. He does seem like a very nice guy, easy to connect with. He inspires the team initially. I just think it's something about maybe his communication, what he decides to focus on. There's only so much you can do with grit and determination, and he makes the best out of the situation, but I don't. He makes your team want to play harder. I don't think he makes them want to like think more calmly, make better decisions, grow as individuals. I don't know. I just feel like he's not like Pep. He's like he wants, and you've heard so many people say it, and then there's so many other managers who I think do this as well, but they make people want to be like better humans. And I don't know, something about Eddie Howe and his philosophy and what I've even seen, even Bournemouth is cool. And everything that he does, it just seems cool. Like it seems nice. It seems up to standard, but nothing about the tactics, his adjustments, the way he talks, the way he handles himself, him after a couple of years, I feel like the teams just don't retain the things that he's saying to people. It's a lot. Like it's just
I'll get, because I think I've got a whole 7 days to argue with Newcastle fans in itself. I'll be arguing my Newcastle players that want Eddie out. When I'm doing my live watch alongs, it's crazy. And I get mad, bro. Like, opposite fans, that's cool, it's a bit different. But our own fans, I get mad. But
yeah.
each of their own, everyone's got opinions, so it's okay. All right. Well, first of all, I think he can make humans better humans, because he's got that warmthness about him. I think he can. He does, should I say?
Yes.
Some people say overachieved when we got the top, because he came in when we were basically halfway relegated. Came in, we done very well. He continued that. We invested a little bit. Then we got the top 4, as you saw, got the Champions League. That, I'll admit, I didn't see that coming. Like, oh damn, in the Champions League.
Yeah,
that was crazy. So you could say we overachieved a bit, and maybe some fans got a bit ahead of themselves, me included a little bit, thinking we can carry on. But because I think there's so many factors. I won't put all on Eddie,
Yeah.
When Amanda Staveley was there and etc., they were all new to this. So it wasn't like they were new to it and we gradually finished like 9th, then 7th. It was just like from relegation, bang, straight to 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had no actual plan. We didn't know. It's like a new kid in a school. How do you go about being in all competitions and competing with this squad? Yeah. People warned me, your squad's not big enough. I said, nah, we're all right, bruv. We will keep fit. We will keep fit like we did last season. Complete opposite. Couldn't keep players fit. And we still managed to keep 7th. Now, in terms of Eddie Howe's, not so much this season at the moment, but last season, I found him very reactive and not proactive. And it's very predictable 67-minute subs or whatever. He would react, never try and look at the situation before it happens. He was stubborn. He's still stubborn in some of his ways because he believes in himself. So there's a lot of things I question him on, but I don't see. And call me naive. Maybe I am. I don't see.
Hey, you should believe in your manager.
No, I believe in him. No, I love having the English manager. I just believe that, like, but we got to put in perspective as well. He got let down big time this summer. Whether he has something to do with it or not, or the relationship broken down, and we might put a bit of blame on Eddie, whatever. The bottom line is he got let down. Amanda Staveley left. That was his trustee and confidant. She's left. Whatever's gone on. Paul Mitchell, he's got a high resume for being a sporting director, scouting players, rate him highly. We all was gassed when he came in, but it's how he came in. Apparently, Eddie Howe, he just came in. Eddie Howe had no idea of it. Eddie Howe doesn't like to work that way. On top of that, you could almost say Paul Mitchell's like Eddie Howe's boss in a way, because it's kind of, when it comes down to it, it's down to Paul Mitchell. He will sign off to say, if we're getting a player you want, or we want, or I want, and I'll give it to you, and you got to deal with it. So that's got to be sorted out, and I think it will be. So after this season, he hasn't been backed. That's the bottom line. He finished 7th last season with an injured, depleted team for most of the season. The season before that, League Cup final, finished 4th. So my thing is, when people say, not you, just most of Newcastle fans.
Yes, of course.
When they're like, no, I had enough. The players ain't playing for him. Yes, our performances is concerning. That's the big concern for me. If this carries on, then it will start to look like they're bored of you now.
Mm-hmm.
We're not playing, but I don't look at it as that. I won't look at that far as that yet. But to say out, like, bring in who, bro? That I'm saying, I think if we can back him,
that's tough.
I wouldn't say change. Some people say, like Daps, for example, a lot of City fans that I speak to, they're like, the owners shouldn't care. If they're ambitious, just go for the best. Always try and go for the best. And I get that. If the owners want to go that direction, then so be it. But careful what you wish for. That's my motto. Careful what you wish for, and it ain't always greener on the other side, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 50. No, so I'm not 50. I'm Eddie Howe in. But I can understand both a little bit what people are trying to say. It depends what they say. If they got actual good reasoning why they want him out, then I could kind of understand. But if it's just like, oh, I'm fed up already, look how we're playing, I want him out. And I'm like, at some point, players need to take accountability, even though the buck stops with the manager. At the end of the day, you can't sack players. you got to set the manager and hope the players react to the new manager. So sometimes I get that as well. It's not always the manager's fault. The players can throw you under the bus.
That's okay. So I was doing some snooping last season and, reading threads, TikToks and stuff. And I was seeing some rumors about Newcastle players wiling out, like partying.
Don't.
And I'm not, I'm not going to dig into like specifically what it is, but like, that's what I'm saying. And I've been hearing the whole thing, like players need to take accountability, but also like, are they not afraid of Eddie? And that's what I'm saying. That's the like, if these things are happening while Eddie Howe is their manager and then he's still playing them like week after week,
I don't think.
It's tough, and I know you can't sit them because like your squad isn't like that, but it's all a very interesting situation. I don't know.
No, if it was something illegal or within your curfew or whatever, I can understand what you're saying. Those stuff I don't really tend to take too much notice of. It's just all dramas and Hollywood to me. I ain't got time for all that. Okay, but I do take note. I do know what you're talking about.
Yes.
I ain't got a choice. People being a content creator, people are gonna come at me and tell me stuff anyway. Yes. Especially when I'm doing live stuff. So I can't escape it. But I ain't got time for all that. In terms of like, it's nothing illegal. All it is that things are being leaked. I think other players do it, man. City players have a good time. Liverpool players, people have a good time, but it depends what gets leaked out or what doesn't get leaked out. That's how I see it. I don't think it's nothing to say, oh, are we not afraid of Eddie? It's just they're living their life. And even if, remember, there's football rules and there's moral rules. Morals is not Eddie's business. It's not my business. If allegedly players want to cheat on their wives or whatever, allegedly, or do all kind of nonsense, I don't give a damn. That ain't my business. I couldn't care not. As long as they turn up on the pitch and don't let it affect their playing ability. So Eddie Howe, he seems like a stand-up moral guy. He's not, trust me, even behind the scenes, it won't be his place to tell players how to behave or whatever. But give him a warning that you are in the limelight, you are in the, spotlight. So I get that part. Be kind of careful what you're doing, and you know what I mean? Things get leaked. Sometimes your best friend, you think they're your friends, but they're the one leaking stories, and So yeah, man. Yeah, I remember Newcastle. It's not like it's London where it's a big city with loads of different teams. It's like more like a one club town, so it's quite, you know what I mean. So yeah, but I wouldn't say anything about
Okay.
But I hear where you're.
Yes.
I see your angle.
Okay, cool. Okay. Let's talk about the squad a little bit. Could you and you've had a few matches to even look at the club, so this is great. Who's an attacker, a midfielder, and a defender who's going to have a good season for Newcastle this year?
I think Isak, once he gets proper fit again.
Yeah, that broken toe.
He's got another niggle. Yeah, but sometimes Eddie plays mind games. Last week, I knew that he was going to play Isak. Everyone thought he was out. So in the long term, I think Isak will still have a good season. He's just a baller. I think Tonali's come back very strong. Sandro Tonali is the one to watch after that long, nearly a year ban. So that's why I think it's going to stand out really well. Tonali for me in the midfield, attacking wise. If I'm going to pick one, Isak will always be Isak. Tonali, I think it's his time to shine. As for our defense, bloody hell. I really don't know. I think Tino Livramento is the one that's going to stand out for me. He's got a lot going for him. So I think he's going to put in the work this season. So that's my three. The goalkeepers, I'm not going to go there because I've got a lot of issues right now with.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I say defender, because the goalkeeper technically is a defender. So like you can pick them if they are going to be the standout on your squad. But
but I've got a lot of. I'm not really feeling Nick Pope right now. Anyway, but that's another time. Anyway.
He's the light seem to be a little bright for him right now. And it's a lot of like silly things. From what
no one's really talking about it. That's the problem. Like people like to make Longstaff the victim every game. People got to start talking. They see what I see, but they're just not talking it up. But I will talk it up. I don't hold back.
Someone's got to.
I want to attack Nick Pope because he's a great. You know what I mean? But if you see things, you just got to call it out and question what's going on kind of thing, week in, week out. But yeah, man, that's my three anyway on the outfield players.
Yeah.
Isaac, Tonali, Tino, Livramento.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see Tonali. I mean, I'm not excited to see him now that we don't have a Rodri and we're figuring things out. But like him as a season, oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest also, and I think maybe it's just my personal viewing experience. Watching Newcastle, and when I watch a team and I pick a team who I'm rooting for, I'm their fan for this match, for this time that I'm watching. I'm locked in for it. And just watching y'all play is the most stressful, confusing, frustrating, and my heart can't take it. I'll watch it like 15 20 minutes of you guys play and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I gotta watch something else.
Bro, imagine living it. You know what I mean? Nah, the last two seasons, I haven't been. I like our play. Obviously, last season it was a bit hard to watch because we had so many injuries and
Yeah.
there wasn't a plan B. That's what was a bit irritating. This season so far has been very frustrating because performance-wise, yeah, we scraped some results through, but performance-wise, I'm like, no, we're better than that. And we ain't bloody signed no one, and it's pretty much the same team. So we can't just forget overnight how we play.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's concerning. If we had 8 new outfield players, you give a bit of leeway, a bit of like, okay, but it's the same players. And it's just non-existent. Going forward, defending, tracking back, midfield is just non-existent for me. And in my opinion, that's the important part for me, is the midfield. If that's not working, forget it, mate. Just forget it. So I don't know, bruv. Like this Man City game, that I really wanted that game before just to shake off that horrific defeat against Fulham.
Mm-hmm.
Is despicable. I was so upset watching that. I was disgusted, to be honest. I was disgusted. I wanted to shake that off, play Wimbledon, then go into this Man City game. But we're just gonna go straight from Fulham, straight. I hope they've been working on the training pitch, but you can work all week on the training pitch. But when it comes down to that 12:30 p.m. UK time kickoff, you know what I mean?
That's an
Like,
equalizer. Like the Newcastle fans who normally show up and like are very vocal. Let's just say that are very vocal
yeah.
at home, and I know it's gonna be tough for them. It's gonna be tough for everybody. Those 12:30 matches are rough for everybody, and I mean it's 6:30 in the morning for me.
I was just gonna say to you,
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning for me. For my friends
that's
in the West Coast, it's
crazy.
4:30 a.m. for them. It's 4:30 in the morning.
Bro, I'm upset that I've got to get up that early to watch it in the UK. And sometimes I've got to remember the US fans, and I've got couple followers
Bro,
that watch
complain about
me
it. Like
from
Phil,
New Zealand. It's like 3 a.m.
uh-huh.
in New Zealand, and they're tuning in to hear me. So I shouldn't even moan. But
It's
yeah,
love.
yeah, 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, man. I wake up, I make my cold brew. I take my dog out, you know. It's become a part of my little
Crazy,
process, you know.
damn. Well, boy, that's the loyalty, man. That's when you support your club, you love. You know what I mean? You wake up, you get on with it. I understand. It's a hard one though. When Newcastle played in the US, I think was it last season? Yeah, we played.
Yeah.
I'm sure we played it in Atlanta. I can't remember. And I remember having to get up stupid times and thought, is this what they have to do week
Yep.
in, week out?
Mm-hmm.
It's odd, bro. You have to get up at 4 and it's all silent and you're watching the game. It's crazy.
Yes, it's silent. It's yeah, I'm excited, and normally I'm watching the game at home by myself, but I just connected with a local brewery, and we're gonna start hosting watch parties for
Oh, is
just
it?
all games, all the leagues. So Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, and just try to really build a footballing community here. I just with the pod and everything where I live, it's kind of like a smaller area. So there's no like big, like Chicago is 3 hours. It's a 2.5 hour drive for me. Like it's,
Shy. Okay.
so really I've just been trying to build a community here. Like I'm really trying to be about. It's easy enough to get some friends, build a nice community digitally and stuff like that. But what are you doing at home? What are you doing in your area to like do better,
That's good,
especially
man.
here in the
No,
US? Like I don't want to put that on England because like that's y'all's life. Like there's football around all the time, but over here in the US, for people who truly love the sport and say they want to be about the betterment of it and things like that, like what are you doing? And so this is me trying.
no, that's I commend that. That's actually you sound dedicated. You sound, you know what I mean, that's a lot, bro. You know what I mean, to try and, you know what I mean, do the bit for your community or
Mhm.
even build the community. You know what I mean, just to put it out there. So I wish nothing but luck for you, bro, man. And I think there's a space for that. There's a
Mhm.
space for that, bro. You know what I mean?
Hey, like you said, we have the World Cup in a couple of years,
Oh,
and
that's gonna be
and
massive. Bigger than
and that's
last
what, yes,
'94. That's gonna be
yeah,
crazy, bro.
yeah.
Trust me, cray. And you know how you Americans like to do things bloody extra, like over
you,
the top.
you know the
But
vibes.
I know about you Americans, man. Like, to get me, whatever anyone else does, you've got to do it better. You just have to do it better, innit? Like, I think that's gonna be a good one. I think it
Uh,
is.
yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
super excited. Who do you think for starting 11 for this match from Newcastle?
It depends, because obviously we're not sure if Isaac's fit.
Mm.
Bruno and Joe Linton, I'm not really hitting up trees right now. I see Bruno getting a lot of stick for Brazil as well for his international duties, even though it's not all on him. But it's a tricky one, man. I just feel like the players that are the usual suspect, usual starters, I really think they're gonna be up for this one. If they're not up for this one, then let's call it a day, bro. So I would start Bruno if they're all fit. Bruno, Joe Linton. I think I'd put Sandro in there. Not that I don't really like Bruno and Sandro playing together. If Willock is still remain fit, I think I'd push him in there. But Sandro needs to start now. It's at home.
Mhm.
Bruno, Sandro, Joe Linton in midfield. I think I'd go. The defense just speaks for itself, but I think Tino needs to start on the right. Just Kelly or Hall. I'll just go with Hall on the left. And obviously, it is what it is. Fabian Scher and good old Dan Burns at the back. His agility levels is horrific.
Yes.
Like, seriously, if you play just defensively, bro, if you play how we played against Fulham, or most of the games we played, I'm telling you, Haaland's going to have a double hat trick. I promise.
Hey,
Like,
Pep told him the last time he almost got a double hat trick. Pep told him. So, hey.
That's why I'm not going to fall about this game too much. I can just imagine them doing a nice balls to Haaland and just taking that out back. Bro, I've seen it, bro. Like, if Man City are on it, and Nick Pope is looking confident. He's looking a bit suspect as well. So I think Manchester City, your boys will be licking their lips on this game. That's why I just want our players to turn up. We can go at you. We can have it. We beat in the League Cup last season. I think, what was it when KDB on his return destroyed us when he came on, and you ended up winning? Was it 3-2? You know, so yeah, man. I just think if you can turn up the old Newcastle, then yeah. But if you don't turn up, it's gonna be curtains very early. Could be game over in the first half.
Okay.
St. James's, or no St. James's. It doesn't matter, man. If your plays ain't connecting, let's call it a day, bro.
Okay.
You know?
Well, we'll get you out of here with this score prediction. What are you seeing? And you can give me. You don't have to give me, or you can give me both. You can give what you as a fan, a supporter of Newcastle, want to happen, and you can give me a reality, what you think is going to happen. Like you can think it's going to be a draw, but you're hoping there's going to be a win. Like you give me what you feel like you want to give me. How about that?
As in the fantasy world, I would like it to be 1-1 for most of the game, thinking that yes, we're gonna get a point, and then nicking a late goal to make it 2-1 and nicking 3 points. That's my fantasy happiness. Doing a live watch along, that'd be the best. But in reality, I'll say, bruv, it could get no less than 3-1 to Man City. I genuinely believe that 3-1 or more. But if I'm going to be sensible, if I said if they're going to beat us, let it be respectable. I think the best I could ask for is us conceding 3 goals and getting 1 back. And I honestly believe that.
Wow. Well,
Right.
we all are very tentative. We think it's gonna be a draw. I would love a
You
win.
don't think that, man. None of you guys must think that.
We do.
I've had some. I did have a couple of other City fans that did say that to me as well. Even after our performances, they just think that's going to be the game you're going to drop. Well, you drop points obviously against Arsenal, but that's the game you're going to drop points. And I just don't see it, man. I don't know why.
It's because it's specific. It's a lot of things. It's the Rodri loss. We have to figure out, because what I would love to see a midfield of Kova, Bernardo, and Pep trusting Foden and putting Foden. Everybody keeps saying Foden's going to be on the left or he's going to be on the right. And it's just like, no, put him in as KDB. He is KDB with more legs. That's all all he has to do is just tell him what to watch for. Like, slowly add more into the game. This is unfortunately, because like KDB could be
put Foden there, yeah? You put Foden in that midfield.
Yeah, like as the KDB position.
I know what you mean, but I don't know. I hear you.
He's gonna if that's eventually where he's gonna be. That's eventually where he has to be. So in this Rodri injury is gonna force a lot of people into us finding out who they are. That Oscar Rob going down, like we're learning more about Savinho than we expected.
I like him.
Like Gundo was supposed to get chill minutes, and now he's about to get freaking worked harder than he ever expected. Saying like there are a lot of adjustments. Like people are talking about throwing John Stones, Kanji, like Rico Lewis in that Rodri like position.
Lewis can do that role though a little bit. Like, I like Lewis. He can.
The problem is, I would prefer John Stones because the whole thing about what makes Rodri's in that position so great. Yes, it's him being able to help out in all 3 phases. Yes, it is how cool and calm he is on the ball. But it's his height. We're gonna keep it real. Like when teams are trying to like take advantage of the counter, ping the ball around, kind of hit it up high, win those second, third, fourth balls. We need someone with height who can hit the ball over to one of our players, get it. It can't be Holland having to do everything. And our defenders obviously can't get too far up or else we leave space. We need someone tall in that position. So that's why I would love to see John Stones, but having to rely on John Stones, the best ability is availability. So it's just like, it's there. Yes, this club is incredibly talented, world-class players, national team players all over the squad. But now it's a lot of people having to spackle things over. Like, you do this part, you do this part, you do this part, and having to trust everyone is now going to do those part on top of it. So it's going to take some time. This is the weakest we will be for the rest of the season.
You'll be okay though. You'll be okay.
Yes. And I know it sounds dramatic, but it's
it's not. It's not dramatic because you know your team.
Yes,
you support your team. You know your team more than anyone else. You know more than me. So you see the things that I probably don't see. I just see as it's Man City, whatever, bruv. You'll get on with it. And I think KD. I'm sure KDB is going to be out tomorrow as well.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm, is a possibility, or is he definitely out?
Pep always says, I'll talk to him the day before the game and we'll figure it out. Which
it's two mind games, bro. Two mind games.
He's not.
Everyone's playing mind games.
He might do 20 minutes. But I don't think he's
come on and destroy us or whatever he did last time. It's horrible. On his return, he had to come back for that game. Oh, I remember last season, man. KDB gave me nightmares just for that little cameo.
Oh man, I loved it. Oh, I was pumped. I was screaming in my living room. I was like, "Let's go!"
I was just deflated. But
oh man,
you kind of expect that from Manchester City. You know what I mean? So I got to be realistic in this game. You know what I mean?
I might pop up tomorrow in your chats for your watch along.
Oh, gosh, please try and pop up when it's 0-0. Forever, how long that 0-0 is gonna last for? You know what I mean? Because I get it from the oppositions. Every time something goes wrong, they start flooding in. Vicky, what's all like, bro? It's like they sit there and they literally wait. They won't get involved. They just wait,
just lurking.
Specks' team. Let's go in there, and they all come at the same time as well. It's like a secret cult. Like, let's go.
They're all in the group chat.
Wow, this YouTube thing's wild, bro. Like,
Oh man.
like you get into it, you think you know what to expect, but this YouTube thing's wild. But yeah, it's all love, man. But nah, big up to you though, bro. I appreciate coming on the show and that.
Yes,
I
of
appreciate
course.
you
We'll
coming
get
on and
you out of
you
here,
know what I mean.
and we will be back for you, Shady Gang, next Monday with a new episode. And then
Man, are you doing a after match thing with anyone, or are you doing your own thing, or what?
so we normally do like a pre-match show, but our rule is no matches before 6:30. And so this match it's too early for us to do a show because we do it normally an hour before kickoff. So we're not waking up at 5:30 in the morning to talk about this. We're not doing
What
it.
about after the show? Do you ever do after matches thoughts with
We
your
don't.
guys or by
It's
yourself, or I don't know how it
yeah,
works?
it's something we would like to start doing, but we do a lot. So it's like it's
Wait, what do you? So I'm confused because I see you. Okay, you are doing a lot. I see you do
Mhm,
your thing. You get me?
mhm,
You're consistent.
mhm.
So what? So you usually do pre-matches,
Yeah, we do pre-matches. We have our weekly show that
little
drops
chat.
out.
Yeah, I get that.
And
Yeah,
we
that's
do
good.
we have the
I've
match
seen that.
previews as well.
But you don't ever manage to, when you won a game, you don't have like a little 10-minute video or a little half an hour
No,
dissect.
that,
Oh,
that
okay.
that's part of the
You
game
don't
where I
have to. You don't have to.
yes, yes,
I'm just
yes.
like, there's
I know,
no
I'm aware of it.
everyone has their own thing, bro. You know what I mean? People
Yeah.
want me to do live panel shows. I'm gonna start doing that, but I ain't managed to do it yet. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean there's no right or wrong in this thing. You just do
Yeah,
what
yeah. Oh yeah, no,
works for
trust
you.
me.
But
Yes,
I
yes,
just
yes. No
thought
respect.
it'd be good because of your energy and your passion. It'd be nice to see you have a chat about a
So
game.
my thing is I watched the games twice. So the first
Yeah,
time I'm vibes. Well, I lead our conversation, I lead our discussion. I listen to all the player interviews, Pep's interviews, all that stuff. Like when I say I'm in it, bro.
I know you sound it. I ain't got time for that, bro. But you see what I'm saying? I got the energy for that. Yeah, but
And
yeah.
so yeah, I watch it twice because the first time it's all vibes. I'm just watching, I'm soaking in things. Like I'm paying attention to momentum flow, things like that, but I'm not it's all not stats, it's all eyes and feels and stuff like that. And then the second
Oh yeah,
match, I watch it again and then I hone in on stuff. And then when I'm writing, because I love listening to Pep the pre, post, and then watching the game again for the second time. So then you almost get to see the game from this whole other level, and it's really fun. And it helps me with conversation narratives and things like that for the show. So we don't
that's
talk.
dedication, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
dedication.
when I
And at
say
least
I work
no one can
hard,
say you're chatting rubbish because you actually, bloody hell, bro. Okay, big bruv, you have got bro. I salute you. I cannot do that,
appreciate it.
bro.
Yeah,
But
man.
big up to you, bro. Everyone's different.
Well,
Everyone has their own niche.
yeah, and also it's the chip on my shoulder as an American. When I started the podcast, it's especially us being a Black podcast, we're covering men's and women. I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure when we came correct. I wanted to make sure.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't ever want, especially being Man City fans, people want to like poo on us. So it's like it's and again, whenever I want to do something, I want to do it well. So it's like I don't.
No, I rate that. No, you should do.
Yeah.
No, that's dedication. No one can question you, bro. You know what I mean? So big up to you, bro. You know what I get me? It's all love, man. I always like check your stuff out every now and again to see where you're at. So it's all about networking, and I appreciate, brother. Honestly,
Yeah.
and good luck tomorrow. Let the best team to win, I suppose.
You're
Or
right.
draw.
Well, we'll get out of here. Hit the outro. You stay here real quick, and we'll see you soon, Shady Gang. Bye.